am in the process of taking those apples that I got, and I'm going to turn them into like an apple cinnamon apples that I can either eat as a side, or I can use them for apple filling for a pie. So that's what we're going to work on today. Okay, so the first thing I have done, I have taken all of my pint containers that I want to use today, and I washed all of them with hot soapy water, and now I am boiling them to sterilize them. And I have a spot over here that they can dry in. So I'm going to need those before I can put any apples and things in them. So that's the first thing I am doing, and I'm going to get started on my apples. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do after I got my water going, I'm going to start working on my apples, and these are 4 of the bags that I have gotten that I need to do something with before they go bad, and of course I can't eat this many apples at once, and I absolutely love cinnamon apples. So I'm actually just using this bag opener. I love this little hefty tool. Put that away. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut all the skins off the apples. I'm actually going to get a bowl to put the scraps in. Drag a bowl, put all my scraps in as I am cutting. Now the recipe I am doing for the candy, it all calls for 6 pounds, and I have a little bit less than that, but that's fine. I don't mind having a little left over. I'm about halfway done with the apples, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of lemon juice in there just to keep them from browning up. So just put a tiny bit in there, and you can do that with yours, and that'll keep it from turning all brown before we get it done. Okay, so all my jars I need to get out of right now. I'm just worrying about getting all these jars out and letting them dry, and I will be using some of them for the apples, and I'm hoping to have a little bit left to be able to finish putting my onions in. Dehydrating those onions, and then I'm putting them in the jars, and I'm using, I'm sucking all the air out of it, and then that way it seals it tight, just like it would when you're, with the canning. And then that way they'll stay a lot fresher, a lot longer. If there's anything I can do to help the family out and make things not be so expensive, then is a good thing. And as you can see, my drawer is all neat and organized. All these little white containers, I have them in my drawers, and I have been using them to organize all my drawers. So I'm going to get the lids out. And you can see I've got some that are wide mouth and some that are regular. I'm going to be using the wide mouth ones for the onions probably. Okay, so I'm going to let them cool down and I'm going to move on to something else. Okay, our next step, after we got our apples all finished and they have the lemon on them, the tablespoon of lemon over that, we are going to take five cups of water in a medium-sized saucepan, and we're going to have this on medium heat. To that, we're going to add in 2.5 cups, or sorry, 2 1/4 cups of sugar. That's the 2 1/4. We're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And we're going to do just a pinch of nutmeg. So we're going to let this cook over medium heat, and we're going to let it simmer for about 20 minutes. So while we have the juice part, it's simmering, the sugars and the water, we've got that going. We're going to go ahead and put the apples into the jars, and we're going to leave about a 1/2 inch of head space. That means 1 inch at the top. And for me, I've got this handy measuring tool that will tell me 1.5 inches. So I just put it on there and it will let me know where 1/2 inch is. This is actually my first time doing this. I've made cinnamon apples in a different way. I've made it with the apple actually there, and you're using the inside of the apple, but I've never jarred it. I started doing canning last summer, and I started, believe it or not, I started with jellies, which is one of the harder things to deal with, but I did it with, I didn't do the jams, which have the chunks of the fruit in there, and so that is definitely a lot easier than dealing with making sure you get all the chunks of fruit and stuff out. looks like I have 6 pints, which I have 1 jar left over, which I will use that for my onions, so that is good. So we've got that. We have to wait for the other to simmer, and then we'll add it into this. Hey guys, so I figured while I'm waiting for the stuff to simmer and that for the 20 minutes, I will show you what I do with the onions. So I've got these are my red onions that are all dehydrated, and I went ahead and put today's date and put what type of onions they are. This is a wide mouth. I got this attachment. It's one of the food saver attachments that you can buy, but I can't afford to buy a whole big machine that they have to suck all the air out and that. So what I have is a brake cleaner. And it's real easy to use. Of course, I'm not going to use this automotively, but I'm just going to put the hose on, and this is what they use to braid all the air out of your brake lines when they do that. So we're just going to put that on, and I'm going to put the tip and just kind of hold it there in the hole, and I'm just going to start pumping. And you'll see, let's see if I turn it around. As I'm doing it, you can see the pump going up higher because I'm pumping all the air out of it. And I gotta say, this is good for your muscles, building your muscles up. Okay. And then I just remove the top, and it is airtight. It won't come off, which is what we want. So, I don't know, for me it'll keep these that I have dehydrated, and I can use these later on. And pulling the air out just makes some cakes stay fresher longer. So I have the white onions, and then the ones I put in the processor to make them minced. And so I have them trying to do smaller jars, so that way I don't have to open a big huge jar at one time. But this is what we got. I thought you'd enjoy that. Hey guys, so my sauce is all simmered for the 20 minutes. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to ladle it into the jars. Now the recipe that I found had said to add food coloring in. I'm not adding any food coloring. It doesn't bother me if things look a little different. So I'm going to take and try to squish down the apples and make sure that there's no air bubbles down in there. A little bit more room.
Two-way dream, two-way dream, two-way dream, two-way dream.
have those all done, we're going to put the lids on. I have them here. Actually put them in warm water so that they will do better. So I'm going to clean off the lip of it. Just put a little bit of vinegar. Only the oils and things from your hand can make it so it doesn't seal properly. Put this in loosely, not too tight. We were going to put that into our crock. And you want the water just above the level of the jars, and then you're going to let that boil for about 35 minutes. So we're going to let that go, and we'll see you in 35 minutes. So they're all done. They had the 30 minutes in the bath, and so I have pulled them out, and now they are sitting till they cool, and I'm going to let them cool completely, and then I'll check to make sure that there's no issues as far as the top staying tight. And as they're cooling, you should start hearing them popping as the pieces go down. So I hope you like my recipe. Thanks for coming to the channel. Don't forget to give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.